Finally, we're going to review Spore Galactic Adventures. After playing around with this expansion pack and looking at it more in depth than ever before, I can say without a doubt that Galactic Adventures is the best thing about Spore. Now let's discuss as to why. The concept of Spore Galactic Adventures is simple. You can now create and play adventures where your own captain can go explore different worlds, complete goals, fight, collect, solve puzzles, and more, giving players more of a reason to play the space stage.
Finally!
As your captain from that part of the game can now go on adventures themselves, earning experience, ranking up, and unlocking new parts to give your captain better chances of completing future and more challenging adventures. It's all just so much stuff to play with, and I cannot wait to get more into it within this video. First off, we'll need to make a captain, which is easy. Just take any creation from any stage you want and then begin editing them. All parts are available by default here. You can give them all kinds of weapons, health and energy boosters, social boosts, and even movement abilities like jet boosters. Making a captain that focuses on a certain thing like social might not be wise if you go on a violent adventure, as they'll be more vulnerable. Yet if they're too focused on fighting, they won't be much use in a social adventure, so finding balance is key. Abilities do not stack, so don't go using both health boosters or energy regenerators. Any captain made here will not get any experience points, rank up, or be usable in the space stage. Instead, they can just be used in quick play adventures in the main menu. Just something to be aware of. Now, let's get to making the adventures themselves.
Finally!
Making adventures is so much fun and simple. You don't need to know how to script or animate or code or program or anything. Nope. Much like RPG Maker or FPS Creator / Game Guru, you just play stuff and play the game. Though you can of course make things more in depth if you want, like creatures moving to a certain spot or patrolling around. Maybe you have to collect something and bring it to some place while platforming. I mean, there's room for expansion if you want more in-depth stuff, but it's not one of those unfriendly editors that scares 99.9% of people that try it off in the first few seconds. If you want to, you can even change up the planet, turn your adventure into an ice giant, or even a fire giant. Who wants to go to Mustafar?
I do.
You can set up what flora appears, the atmosphere density, water level, if it's cold or hot or in between. You can make the world hazardous to just be on, causing your health to decline over time, or to disable it altogether. You can change up the gravity even, so you can run around on a moon. It's fun changing up the theme of the planet, or even just altering the terrain, creating new mountains, volcanoes, rivers, lakes, oceans, and more. The editor just has so much to offer its user. It can be as simple as you want or advanced as you want. Placing objects can be a bit finicky depending on what you're doing, using keyboard shortcuts to alter the scale of objects and creatures as well as the height of its placement. So you can make bridges in the air or giant creatures to fight. Remember epics in the main game? Those things were a nightmare in creature stage. Tribal, not so much, and after that, they became a joke. Well, you can scale any creature in the editor you want and make them into epics. If you want a progression to your adventure, you can add acts. By default, there's only one. Each act can host 3 objectives to complete. You have an intro, act, and outro stage. Set up goals to complete, like defend something, kill something, collect something, befriend something, move to something.
Ooh, so many choices!
Making adventures is just so much fun. Creating various themes like relaxing ones, collectathons, social events, or even all-out frickin' warfare and genocide. Whether you want it to be themed after a certain thing like horror, science fiction, modern, prehistoric, Wild West, medieval fantasy, you name it, it's all up to you as you're the creator. The power is yours.
I am God!
Of course, you're going to want to playtest your creations before you're done. In the testing phase, you can control things better for debugging, like completing objectives that can't be completed, such as if the enemy you need to kill was flagged as an ally instead, or your captain cannot move towards a certain point because of the terrain or something. Playtest your creations thoroughly, and be sure to save often along the way. So when it comes to actually playing adventures, I'll agree with LGR here. The creature stage controls are a bit clunky, with adventures being more advanced form of gameplay. That adds up. It's not dreadful as LGR made it out to be, but it's noticeably not great. I still love this expansion in game though, don't get me wrong at all. Just be wary going in as a newcomer. You're going to be fighting the controls a bit, especially the camera at times. Otherwise, it's perfectly serviceable and most importantly, fun. But not all adventures and captains are created equal. As such, certain adventurers will not be the right pick for your captain. You may find your pacifist religious zealot creature who focused on socializing throughout its evolution at the end of some other creature's plasma blaster or jaws/claws. Some adventures are better suited for different creatures, like a tall human-esque one will have an easier time moving around or over something than something that's shorter or even legless. Or if your creature doesn't have a whole lot of health, it may end up being blasted to worm food. Though, depending on which adventure it is, you might find it short but sweet. If you speed run through things, it may be even less than a minute. It's all up to the way you play, but for me personally, I haven't played an adventure that took more than roughly 12 minutes tops. These things may appear intimidating at first. They're not, and that's a good thing if you ask me. You don't want something to overstay its welcome, as even something great can wear down over time and become something dreadful, like rewatching your favorite YouTubers over and 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 over again until you're sick of them. Sorry, Civvy11, #FreeCivvy.
Oh, hey, Civvy.
You got so many different possible adventures and themes. I love it. You could go from escorting someone from zombified creatures on a moon to help an army stop a war with diplomacy, or just slaughtering soldiers in a galactic war, exploring a zombie-themed city or mansion, fighting in an arena, or attempting to escape a fiery maze. I cannot stress this enough. Galactic Adventures is quite possibly the best thing about Spore in general. It just fleshes things out and gives your creations more value and allows for more creative freedom than ever before. Plus, who doesn't want yet another D-Day in a video game? They also finally made the space stage worth playing. The worst stage in the base game has become, well, not the best, but certainly not the worst. Nowadays, I absolutely hate the cell stage most of all, followed by the tribal. More on that in the Spore review itself in the future.
But wait! There's more!
Anyway, so yeah, if you play the space stage, you'll make your captain and do what you normally do, except once you request a mission from another empire, you may get an adventure, travel to the designated planet, and beam down for some fun. If your captain is new, you'll get 2 tutorial adventures to complete first. The spaceport, where you will get to know the basics of the expansion pack, and Adventure Town to learn more mechanics, which is where I was for years confused as to how they allowed you to teleport into buildings. Turns out you make building parts and combine them together, make a teleporter and place it inside and out. You can then have the illusion you entered that specific building.
Of course!
But in the end, this makes me actually want to play the space stage. It's fun playing Maxis made in my own creations here. It gives me something to do besides scroll up forever to zoom in and scroll down forever to zoom out as I move around the stores, trading spice. God, this space stage still fucking sucks.
It sucking fucks, it fucking sucks, it fucking blows, it's a piece of shit, and I don't like it.
Every time you complete an adventure, you'll get experience. Maxis made ones are 100 points. Your own are 10 points. If you go online and download other creations, they will vary in points depending on how difficult the adventure is. Once you rank up, you'll get a new title for your captain, plus the ability to select a new part.
Tell me more.
There's a total of 32 parts to unlock. If you want a certain one, you'll need to unlock stuff before it. This is a con that can hinder your experience if you're not careful, as certain adventures benefit certain kinds of creatures, like those that can jump or fly, let alone are tall and can walk over things better. Plus, if your creature has more health, that will benefit you early on so you can unlock health regeneration boosts. You got things that can give you improved socials or attacks, whether you need a rocket launcher to blow up crowds of enemies or the ability to sing. Like I said earlier, your created adventures will only net you 10 points for completing it, as you cannot get more experience for repeating the quest, so each adventure is a one and done per captain in terms of rewards.
What the fuck?
Thankfully, you can still play them again, but you won't be rewarded for it. So get to downloading more creations offline or creating more of your own.
God f***ing damn it!
Lastly, before we move on to the other section, your progression will rely heavily on user-created content online. I have no interest, as it auto-shares all of my own creations against my will. Plus, you will auto-download stuff for you by the game by default, and you have to delete stuff once you disable this. So I'm stuck playing several dozen self-made adventures just to rank up to what? Only 10 ranks total? Yikes, so you're really restricted on what you can unlock because of this. So if you want a certain part towards the end of the unlocks, you're going to be taking on parts you don't want and be stuck with very little options. Youch. Did not realize that.
Una Not so good, huh? Not so good.
I wanted to review Spore around the same time as this expansion, but
These things, they take time.
so for now this will have to do. Besides, Spore isn't exactly a tiny game, and each stage will take a while to get through, so eventually I will review Spore, so I can make another compilation for later on in the year. Sorry for not Asian parenting myself enough.
You doctor yet?
No, Dad, I'm 12.
Talk to me when you doctor.
At the end of the day, Spore Galactic Adventures is my favorite part of the game. Sure, it's a bit jank and lackluster in some parts, and sure, I wish we had more expansions to add on to the game and complement Galactic Adventures further, but for what it is, it's a near great expansion to a near great game. Spore has its faults, but it's such a unique experience we have yet to see replicated to this day. That's part of why this game still sells and has an everlasting community that continues to play and create to this day. Spore Galactic Adventures just makes things even better, as we can now engage in various types of adventures, from action to puzzle to platforming or simple relaxation. Galactic Adventures is well worth playing, and one day I will eventually cover Spore itself. But for now, anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.